Je suis à la recherche d'un vinyle qui a malheureusement été pressé qu'en un seul exemplaire.
Mais c'est quel disque que vous recherchez?
Malheureusement, je n'ai que le nom du groupe. Chaîne Express.
J'essaie de trouver un moyen d'entrer dans le QG du département des affaires paranormales. Puis c'est là que vous intervenez.
On m'a dit que vous étiez accompagné.
Oh, je regrette, je suis venue seule.
J'étais persuadé d'avoir vu un jeune homme, brun, avec des lunettes. Exactement comme celui-là. Je suis sûr qu'un petit entretien nous permettra de dissiper ce petit malentendu. Ça ne vous dérange pas? Mettez-le dans mon bureau. Enlevez-lui ses monettes. Excusez les mauvaises manières de mes hommes. Quelque chose à boire?
Non merci. En revanche, j'aimerais savoir pourquoi je suis retenu ici contre mon gré.
Vous n'avez pas une petite idée? Je dois avouer que je ne m'attendais pas à ce que Jacques ait l'audace d'envoyer son fils pour une mission aussi périlleuse. À manger peut-être. J'aimerais savoir pourquoi ce vinyle vous intéresse.
L'appât du gain. Il est unique, non?
Et pourquoi est-il le seul exemplaire selon vous? C'est une navette spatiale. Découvert par votre père. Dans son journal, Jacques a écrit qu'il y a un émissaire extraterrestre qui est venu sur Terre pour rencontrer le premier dirigeant de la DAP. Il aurait utilisé un vinyle pour le voyage d'aller, qui a disparu, et un autre pour le retour. Ce vinyle fonde nos rêves de voyager dans l'espace et de découvrir peut-être une nouvelle planète. Une aubaine pour l'espèce humaine. La Terre s'éteint à petit feu, Findy. La survie dépend de mes recherches. Cela ne devrait pas être notre priorité.
Je sais pas. Tout ça me paraît un petit peu précipité, non?
Je vais vous laisser 5 minutes. Ça va vous permettre de réfléchir.
Dans les années 80, il y a eu beaucoup d'ovnis. Des artistes, des groupes qui ne sortent qu'un album et puis plus rien. L'un de ces ovnis se nomme The Limit. Un album qui aurait pu faire un énorme carton, mais qui est resté assez obscur dans la sphère pop-funk. Cet album a entièrement été écrit, chanté et composé par un duo de producteurs, Bernard Oattes et Rob Van Schaik. Ces deux producteurs hollandais sont restés assez discrets sur leur production et la conception de cet album devenu mythique dans la niche funk. Nous sommes allés aux Pays-Bas, rencontrer Rob Van Schaik, celui que vous voyez chanter sur la vidéo, pour en savoir plus sur leur production et leur musique.
Thank you, Rob.
You're welcome.
I'm really happy to do this interview, and thank you for letting us do the interview in your studio.
You're welcome.
And I will start this interview with a simple question. What was your first contact with music?
Since I was very young, my father had a restaurant dancing bar, and so there was a lot of artists playing at our home. I guess that's when I got into contact with music first. Enough, old French heroes like Stéphane Grappelli and what's the Django Reinhardt, in those days they played.
Okay. When did you start to play music and to do music? At what time?
Also very young. I think when I was, recently I saw pictures when I think I must have been 8 or something, 9, and there was something hanging around my neck that resembled a guitar, so I guess,
You started with guitar?
Yeah, but also because my father had this dancing thing where live music always was. There was a grand piano, there were drums,
Okay.
there was a bass standing during the week when nobody was playing. you could, like, as a kid, you could hang out there and fiddle with, with a bass, which was twice as my size, but that kind of thing.
Did you have back in times some idols or people in the music that you loved, that you listened a lot?
I was a Beatles fan, and that's usual pop things. What did you have more than? With Jefferson Airplane. I don't know.
More rock?
Pop, really.
Pop. Yeah.
I was not really into the Stones. I was more into the Beatles, but I don't know. But
a lot of things.
There was a lot of things, but that was when I was really young. I don't think I registered that really. It's more important when you are like 15, 16, what happens then. And that was in the days where 15, 16, you started to have Steely Dan.
Steely Dan, yeah.
You had a little Ellen Toussaint, Little Feat, that kind of stuff. And that I thought was really interesting. And afterwards, the Bee Gees, they started off with the disco thing, but their vocals are always very white and easy to criticize. Their arrangements, they were really happening, That was really pretty black actually, pretty R&B like. After that, what really made it happen was Chic, Earth, Wind & Fire. I think those are big influences right when me and Bernard started writing.
Oh yeah.
They were like huge influences, and like the Little Feet, Ellen Toussaint, Steely Dan, they were also very important.
Back in times, during the 80s, you produced with Bernard Oattes, and you had this band The Limit. I don't know if you call it a band or not.
No,
you are two producers.
It was really just the two of us. We did everything together. We wrote together, we produced together, we arranged together, and we had this band together.
Yeah.
And we never really performed live with a real band, but we had a saxophone player that aided us on stage, and a girl that sang.
How did you meet Bernard?
He was the brother of my then girlfriend.
Okay.
So, and he was a pretty musical guy. I think I asked him at some point to join the band I was playing in, and he did. And at the end of the band, we continued writing. Other guys went into.
So at first it was a band.
There was a band called Steam, and there was a couple of really good musicians in there, and half of the band went on to perform to form. You probably won't know it, but Doe Maar, which was a huge Dutch hit band. They played music in Dutch. It was like a really girly band, like. And Bernard and I just went on, and we decided we wanted to write. So we tried to get a a publisher to give us a contract.
Okay.
And that's when it started happening. And then when you start writing, you also look for occasions to produce things, to make demos with people that you think are talented. And out of that came, the first thing that we did was Future World Orchestra.
This is the first album?
That was the first official record company that asked us to produce a band they had.
So it was this album of Future World Orchestra, Mission Completed?
Mission Completed. Yeah.
And you did half of the tracks or all the tracks?
We produced all the tracks, but the thing, it was a bit confusing. We tried very hard, and we also wanted our own influence in there. And maybe it was not that nice to the guys of the band, but Desire, the first hit, was an idea by one of the guys from Future World, and we made it.
Yeah.
And we wrote lyrics, and we sang it also. Desire.
So you in Miracles, the track of that album, you are the singer.
Bernard and I. Bernard did the lead in Desire and in Miracles also. And I did all the backing vocals, and in the choruses of Desire you have the answers.
Yeah.
Desire, that's what I say. He comes in, he driving me crazy with desire, that kind of shit. And I'm Not Afraid of the Future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other one, but I don't think there's much vocals in other tracks.
I think there's more instrumental tracks.
Well, actually, they were really like a synthesizer band, and they had, I think, what was it, one or two tracks that featured vocals.
Yeah.
And we basically stole it from them. So
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
It looks like it looks like a bit like electronic 70s electronic sound.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know Jean-Michel Jarre.
Yeah. Well, then
It was the inspirations, or
yeah,
okay, like a bit Giorgio Moroder.
absolutely. No, they were the heroes for these guys,
Oh, okay.
and they were not bad with what they were doing. But the only thing is that we thought that you needed a vocal track in order to create the attention for your album. I think it was true also, because of the hit. They sold albums and everything started working for them. But yeah, well, we came from there, and they came from the synthesizer.
Okay.
Don't you go too far, counting on miracles. Oh yes, you're counting on miracles. You're looking for me.
Now, after that, we did She's So Divine.
For you,
Besides-
for the band The Limit.
In terms of productions, I mean, we wrote stuff for other people.
Yeah.
We will not talk about that. Well, at least that's not so interesting
Yeah.
at this point in time. After that, we produced She's So Divine, which was actually recorded by, I don't know if you know that, by Jan Akkerman. Jan Akkerman was a famous Dutch guitarist.
Jan Akkerman, yeah.
Yeah. He recorded that on one of his albums, which was produced by the guy who was at that point our publisher.
Okay.
And they recorded She's So Divine. I think that was actually, Desire was our first production.
Yeah.
She's So Divine was the first song that was done, but we didn't produce that.
Okay. It's
What I'm saying, so that was before Desire.
okay.
Jan Akkerman recorded that song.
But it's your song.
Yeah.
It's not the Jan Akkerman
No,
song.
it's not.
Okay. Okay.
Well,
You did it.
He played it.
Yeah, of course. So you did it for
We
him.
wrote it. We wrote it.
You okay? You wrote it for him.
Not for him. We wrote it just as a good song, and then he did it. It was also on the shortlist for George Benson at some point. Well, that was actually, I think that was the general idea behind it, because it was a good song. It is a good song, and the publisher guys, they tried to get it into America, because the sound is not really Dutch. So it did end up on a desk of some publisher that was also dealing with George Benson's new record. So he was on the shortlist for like 3 or 5 songs left. That would be the single for George Benson.
For George Benson.
And then George Benson did Give Me the Night.
She's so divine, got me feeling like a fish on the line. My head is reeling and I'm spending the time.
And so you choose to do the same song, so She's So Divine, and to
We just thought that, well, the thing was, the song was picked up by the BBC, so they played it on English radio, but it never really materialized, and Jan Akkerman was not really into promoting it that much.
okay.
He saw it as sort of, we just did that, that's it. It was not his direction. So at some point, we decided, maybe we can do something with it. It's a good song.
Okay.
We can get some more mileage out of it. And we did. But it was also a very funny thing, because it didn't do anything in Holland.
This song.
This song, She Said, by us.
Okay.
Jan Akkerman, he wasn't really, I think he was played on Dutch radio with She's So Divine a couple of times. It wasn't really a serious single. So the BBC tried it, but that was it. It ended there. And when we did She's So Divine, it got hardly any play. And then at some point it was picked up by WBLS in New York, and they started playing it. And through WBLS, British DJs who follow that, what's happening there, because I don't know if you know WBLS in the 80s, it was a very important black station.
Okay.
They had all the good stuff. You know, Kiss FM and WBLS was basically urban, contemporary funk, R&B. And so they started playing it, and then everything started happening.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, because then we were invited by because it was being played. The guy that we worked with later on decided to promote it out of his own free will, and he worked for Arista, Clive Davis's company, and so Arista put it out, and I think it was number 17 in the dance charts and number 38, 42 or something like that in the black single charts, and it was really a serious radio record.
Yeah.
But since we were white, and in America you have this very strong defense, as they call it, black and white.
Yeah.
There was no pictures of us, nobody knew us, there was no promotion of us personally, it was just a record. And it sold almost, it's a little under 100,000 copies that were sold there, of which a lot of 12 inches, so it was something.
How was the production of your album, your first album, The Limit? How was it? How did it go?
How did it go? Well, it was a job and a half. It took quite some time. Parts of it was done in Belgium, parts was done close by here in the studio, and pretty much afterwards in New York. It was a lot of work. We basically did it with the two of us, so everything, I engineered a lot, and Bernard played a lot, and then I would sing a lot, and he would sing a lot. It's like with two guys making an album.
It was more difficult than...
It's work. It's if you have a producer and you have a band, then it's much more forward, because we had to, judge what we were doing. We wrote it, and you had to do everything.
Oh wow!
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
But it takes some time.
A lot of times, and
yes.
you know how
and
many.
Both Bernard and I can really are very good at doubting stuff,
Yeah.
So you can become unsure if you've done something. Is this really the way you want to do it? How much time? 83 till
85.
I think 85. Yeah. It was. Let's see. Well, it was the end of 85, 86 that it was a hit, right? So yeah.
Say it's 84, no? When I
was 84, 85?
The single.
It's 84, 85.
84.
Okay. Then we worked on it from the beginning of 83. No, something like that. Beginning of 83 till summer 84.
And you know why you wanted to took some songs that you wrote before, like Miracles, Could This Be Love? And Crimes of Passion was a song that you released in 1982 also.
That was actually done because we hoped to do something more for Arista. It was not really done for Holland, it was done for Arista. But Arista, they didn't want, we had a meeting with Clive Davis and he was like, nah.
Okay.
We're not going to do this. So we had Crimes of Passion and we wanted to do something with it. I think Love Attaxx is also from the same period. And they're good songs, so it's it's a waste to throw them away. But it was released in Holland, but nothing really.
Oh yeah.
I cannot even remember they're doing any serious radio promotion for it.
The Crimes of Passion,
so
the single.
Single. So it was bought by CBS when we signed with CBS in '83. They also bought Crimes of Passion, so that was added to the album.
And that's why. Why?
And Could This Be Love was written basically, I think it was written for ourselves. Well, as a song it was written, but we used it, and then Forrest decided to do it, or at least the people making his record, producing his record, decided to use that song. And what more do you have? Miracles, Could This Be Love? Miracles, yeah, well, Miracles. That's a good song, man.
It's a.
Girl, you know how I love you and I can't let go. Always thinking
No, we did it in 81, I think. It's a Future World.
Yeah.
And it was a single in England. I remember it was a blue little 7-inch. I had it. And it didn't happen. And the company the company that did Future World Orchestra, they also did not want to release that as a single. We really saw that as a follow-up to Desire. No, so I mean, since it, when it's over, when you have released something and nothing happens with it, and you still have the song, you can let it bleed to death, but you can also just
And to
redo
do something,
it. So we redid it, and I think not bad.
So you did this album, and there is something on this album really interesting. I don't know if you want to talk about, but there is two names, The Limit and Oattes Van Schaik. And why there is two name?
I mean, I gotta drink some water before I get to that one. No, it's that's pretty complicated. Well, it was released first as The Limit. We were signed as The Limit. That was our name. But then it turned out that there was already a Limit in America, a group called The Limit.
There's already, yeah.
And their lawyer, who controlled their name, obviously, I don't know why, but or they hired him, I don't know. Said basically you have to change your name. So that was in the middle of, we had England, it was almost top 10 there, and everything went fine. It was going to number 1 in dance charts all over Europe. Everything great. It was really going up in the dance charts in America, and then the name had to be changed because it was first released, Say Yeah was released as a single, and then after that the album was going to come out. So the album came out as Oattes Van Schaik in America, and then the album, I think the album was called The Limit, right?
The album is called The Limit.
Yeah, it's a crazy situation.
And for the cover, because the cover, there is two covers. There is one with the Limit sign. I prefer that one. And there is the other. It's like
with the head.
Like a head, yeah.
Yeah, with the
it's strange.
Sort of metal head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I didn't design it.
You choose to do this cover or no?
No. No, that was not our choice. It was basically it was also done after we. I stayed a long period in New York. We worked on the album. We did all sorts of stuff. We, more than half a year, I think. And then when we came back, and then everything started happening, then you had this sort of panicky situation where you had The Limit and you had Oattes Van Schaik, and then they decided to go for America with the Oattes Van Schaik name and then a different cover.
So they did a different cover?
They did a different cover.
Okay, and you choose to did the panel cover, it's your choice?
No, it was done by, well, they had some pretty famous art designers at CBS, and they made the covers.
Okay.
And I don't think it was really done, or it was meant to be that artists come in and say, well, I don't like that, do something else.
Okay.
It was, it wasn't bad, and well, I think the Dutch cover, I'm cool with that, with the sign with The Limit. That we okayed that. There was no problem. But then after that, the other one came, and it was like there was a very strange situation already, because the name had to be changed, and then the cover changed, and that was different. So it was like, well, fuck it.
The collaboration, yes, with 5 Star. It was before, I think.
No, it was when we scored a hit in England, and I think that was very much in the beginning of then '85.
Okay.
And that's when a guy, an R&B manager, Peter Robinson from RCA Records in UK, he invited us to do a track for 5 Star.
For 5 Star.
Because they worked with a lot of producer teams.
Yeah.
And that was basically the way they wanted to do it. So they asked us, well, write a track. So we did that, and I remember that by the first time we did shows in Holland live, we had written a track, Love Take Over, and they liked it, and so we went to do it.
So it's not a track. So it's not a track that you wrote for 5 Star.
Yeah, it is.
So, it is a track for 5 stars. It's not your track that you give to 5
It
stars.
was not a track that was meant to be for the limit, but it was a track that was specially written for 5 star. Because by the time that we started working on the project 5 star, the limit album was finished.
Are you both singers, or it's more you that you sing?
No, we're both singers. It was let's put it this way, it was quite a job to, you call it, to divide everything equally.
It was equally?
I think so, well.
Okay. And after that album, there is a big question. Why there's not a second album?
No, we tried. We had a contract with Polygram, also in New York, and we aimed at making an album. But there was back in those days there was a serious transition from, let's say, the R&B that you had up till like 85, 86 to rap.
Oh.
And rap was happening. Basically, the second album that was the pocket you had to fall into in order to sell records. And in one way or the other, it didn't materialize. We made an album, almost finished it, but it wasn't released.
Okay, so you made an album.
Yeah, but there was a lot of things that happened by then.
In France, your album The Limit is considered like pop funk or funk album.
Mm-hmm.
And how can you describe the sound of this album?
Well, obviously there's a big love for rhythmic black music with a disco influence. I don't know, man. It's like rhythm that was very important.
Yes.
And
so is it strange for you that we call it a funk album?
No.
For you it's like...
It's more something to be proud of than to dislike. No, it is funky.
Okay, nice. I hope one day we could have the album on the streaming platforms.
Well, I'm working on it. I'm really trying to, to get everything in sync with CBS, that I can start what I want to do with my new stuff, basically.
Yeah.
And also with She's So Divine on it, and then put the album on it. Okay. And it can be done, but it's Sony is pretty hard, and especially because it's Sony New York, it's very hard to get through to them if you're not a lawyer. If you got to almost hire a firm to get something done. It's complicated.
I understand.
And you have to stick to. You don't want to do it legally, so you don't want to but these IRSC numbers is always what it's about, and they have fixed IRSC numbers, and so you want to do that.
Yeah.
Well, they know it.
Are you still in contact with Bernard?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you wanted to have Bernard here too. I realized, well, he's not very much into this kind of thing.
I think he don't want to make music anymore.
Maybe he doesn't want to see me anymore yet. You don't know, huh? No. He's sort of he's doing other stuff.
Okay, nice. Thank you, Rob.
You're welcome.
J'ai longtemps hésité avant de saper la propriété du vinyle de votre père. Si ce vinyle est unique, alors tout extraterrestre échouant sur Terre en a besoin pour repartir. Une sorte de piège. Comme ceux où on met un morceau de fromage pour les souris. Si l'on part du principe que vous avez rencontré l'une de ces créatures, alors votre présence ici n'est plus un secret. Le piège a mordu.